April the 30th, 2000 and April the 30th. April the 13th, 2016. I'm Dana Durnford, your host, the nuclear proctologist.org, and you can find these videos and Fukushima presentations throughout the entire internet. We are pleased to announce for a very long time. We are not just streamers, we are also activists, and we are also out in the field doing research. We have 260 days on the coastline of British Columbia, Canada, and 15,000 miles, and we have put that documentation up at the nuclear proctologist.org. And you got to realize how deep this planet has buried itself in nuclear waste to appreciate the trouble that we're in. Did I just start again? Damn it, I gotta fix that right now. It's not supposed to be like that. Hang on, here we go. Now I got it. Next time I do that, that won't be an issue. It's just because I do so much here at the same time. Today, human and natural sources. Now this is a chart that is propagated in everybody's mind through TV and through lectures from Woods Hole and the University of Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, and through the nuclear public relation firms on this planet. So what they're trying to do is say there's more natural radiation, so why are you worried? Why are you also concerned? Why are you also mesmerized by Fukushima when it's insignificant? Now you look at Chernobyl, you got 85 petabecquerels, and we'll explain this for you with a calculator in a few moments. And Fukushima was only 10 to 30 petabecquerels in the atmosphere, and 30 to 30 petabecquerels direct. Now compared to Chernobyl, Fukushima looks like it's insignificant. Would you agree? This is what they're saying to you. Okay. Chernobyl was 1/3 the size of any of the reactors in Japan, and Chernobyl was a 30% meltdown, and Chernobyl stopped after 10 days. Japan has 3 confirmed 100% meltdown, melt-throughs, and melt-outs. Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3. But nobody bothered telling you that Unit 4 is missing its entire inventory. That was, the reactor cores were in the fuel pools in the building. As you can see, they tore the building apart. And I'll just give you a bigger picture of that. And then he told you it looked like that on the inside of that. Okay. But look at Unit 3. Unit 2 is confirmed to all be gone, and Unit 1 is confirmed to all be gone. It's all gone. And we have the modeling of the fallout. Okay. It's not potassium. It's not rubidium. It's not radon they're talking about. It's man-made ionizing radiation from that. From this. From that. Okay. Let's do some math. Let's do some math. And we'll keep popping this one up here so you can get context all the time. When you're ready, Dana. I'm ready. First, we're going to come over and say hi to everybody. Good morning, everybody. Elaine is out there, I'm sure, and Jan Brooks is right there. See, like I didn't have to look. You didn't have to say Jan is out there working hard. Probably catch this later. Just cussing. Ellen S. Nova. She had an early day today. That's Miss Milky the Clown 1, Miss Milky the Clown original on YouTube. That has never stopped, even though psychologically she has. Her site has never stopped. She's worn out because she has never stopped, and she hasn't seen the fruits of her labor. And she doesn't know how to stop anyway. Dalamine, Kathy, good morning, everybody. Checks and balances, and white sparrows. I'm sure I'm missing lots of people. Edwards. Okay, so, thanks, Cousin. Now, what's really important on this particular part of the story is a calculator. Because you really got to appreciate what they had said to you and how big that lie, how manipulative that lie actually is. There you go. Can you see me now? I got a great calculator. Okay, that's one side of the argument, and this is not going to take very long, fortunately. So let's start off with potassium 40 in your bottom right hand corner. to say there's 15 million petabecquerels. Okay, Dana, what the frig is a petabecquerel? Well, a petabecquerel, I can bring it up over here for you too. So a petabecquerel on your left-hand side in the middle of the screen, in equivalency of curies, is 27,027 curies. Now a curie is, say, 88 times 37 billion ionizing, radiating, man-made atoms. You got all that? That was pretty straightforward, huh? So a curie, each one of those curies represent 88 times 37 billion. Okay, but we'll call it, there's 88 curies, or 88 times 37 in a curie. Gets confusing, I know. Okay, so that being said, mouse. Let's bring up the mouse. So the first number we're going to work with is, let's remind everybody, the first number we're going to work with is the 15 million potassium in your bottom right hand corner. I'll bring it up for a quick boo for you. So the bottom right hand number is 15 million becquerels, yeah? Okay. Okay. All right. Dana, when you're ready, Dana. Come on, Dana. We're getting tired of sitting here. Listen to you say nothing. Okay, here we go. So let's put in 15 million. So you got 15 million. Now that's petabecquerels. Now each petabecquerel is times, that would be times 27,027, right? Okay, there's your number. And we can keep track of our numbers over here on the right hand side. You see it show up here on the right hand side. So that's our first number of how much potassium is in the ocean. So this is not going to take us too long, but it is complicated, so we don't want to get it wrong. So potassium 40, which is indigenous, and everything on the planet has got potassium 40 in it. You can't get any more potassium 40 in your body than you already have. Now potassium 40 is 1/10 millionth or 71/10 millionths of a curie per gram. 71/10 millionths, so it's 0.00005 zeros and 71, which is 71/10 millionths in a gram. In a gram. So we're going to talk about grams. This is how we're going to flush this out. So the easiest way to do it for you, so everybody can understand what we're talking about, is now you have a number of 405 billion curies. We're going to divide that by 88. Okay, here we go. So now that's now when we're in the grams. So each 88 is times 37 billion, but it represents 1 gram of material. So it takes 1 gram of material for man-made stuff. This is what we're talking about. We're going to do a comparison in a minute. Hang on. You'll get where I'm going. So now we got grams. We need to multiply. We need to divide grams to get ounces. So grams to get ounces is 29 grams. So divide it by 29. Now we got ounces. Now divide that by 16. And we got pounds. And that's wrong. Let's go back again. I smurfed up. Hang on, we'll get it. Okay. 15 million. I'll keep looking over here. I'll bring up the other camera. Hi, I see you. So let's do this real quick here. Not too quick because we don't want to get it wrong. Okay. So 15 million, keep going, Dana. 15 million times 27,027 curies per petabecquerel equals. Okay. Now you want to divide that to get grams. So you're going to divide it by 88 for man-made. Comparison is what we're going to do here in a minute. You'll see. Equals that one. Then we're going to divide the grams into 29 lots to get ounces. And then we're going to divide that into 16 lots to get pounds. equals that one. So screwed up here somewhere. Okay, so let's say it is 10 million. It's supposed to be 10,000, I think, but say it's 10 million pounds. To get the same amount of man-made radioactivity as what's naturally in the ocean of potassium. So to surpass that, you would have to get 10 million pounds. Okay. Well, this reactor, and I'll bring up the other camera for you. This reactor had 5 million pounds in it. On the roof of it was 20 years. It was dear for the reactors were running almost 30 years. Just let's say 20 years worth of supply. So every 2 years they got to put 5 million pounds up on the roof. Or we'll call it the roof, but it's not the actual roof. It's up in fuel pools that are 30 feet deep. And the rods are 12 feet high, and then the rest of it is over the rods. And that's to contain the neutrons and X-rays for 10 years, so it can cool down. So 5 million pounds will last you for 18 months to 24 months per reactor on this planet, say, for instance. But Fukushima in particular, by comparison, you got 5 million pounds in reactor. Let me bring it up for you. You got 5 million pounds in this reactor, and then you got millions of pounds above it, and millions of pounds of the common spent fuel pools around it. Then you have reactor 2 that would have had pounds. Each reactor holds 3,840 assemblies. Each assembly has 80 rods. Each rod is 18 pounds and 12 feet long. It's 282,000 rods per 18-month cycle. So the biggest product after that cycle, once it went through a chain reaction, Dr. Raymond Gilmedy from Loveless Respiratory Research Institute, his studies, he got the 94 peer-reviewed academic studies on using americium neptunium, but curiously so, also using curium isotopes on dogs. Now, he killed the dogs. All the dogs died a couple of years of the exposure because it's not like potassium, right? Here's another one. I'll come right back to the other one in a minute. This was 144 dogs in 1996. And out of that, you can see the second sentence from the top. And then the third sentence, tumors of the lung, skeleton, liver, beginning by 3 years. Bone tumors were found in 93 dogs. You can read the rest of it, and particularly the last two sentences. These findings in dogs suggest similar dose-related biological effects could be expected in humans. Accidentally exposed. What do they mean by accidentally exposed? Well, it's not like a banana. It's not like a potato chip. It's not like walking in sunshine or getting on an airplane. You run away from it like they done, right? Okay, let's come back. Now let's come back up to this one here. So you got 15 million petavecles, and you got all the reactors in Japan that we know that melted down. But you only need 10 million pounds of man-made stuff to equal the same amount that's naturally of potassium-40, which is irrelevant. So your body treats potassium-40 as homeostasis. So as you eat potassium-40 and everything, your body equalizes it. It can't hold anymore. But if there's man-made there, that'll end up and stay in your body, sequestered there, and your body will attack it for decades and build a tumor around it. We call it a sarcophagus, really, because that's the only sarcophagus you can put around radiation is a tumor. And that's why there's so much cancers around nuclear waste sites and nuclear power plants. Incredible. Is more likely to get breast cancer, deadly breast cancer, disfiguring breast cancer. Horrific impacts upon these people. Every single individual, no matter how impoverished or how wealthy they are, will suffer unimaginable because of just that one affliction out of the 1,800 that we know about. And I should have imported that in. I'll come grab that in a little tiny bit. Now, they were a long way from getting power restored at the power plants. And we covered this yesterday, how the water drops a minute, an inch a minute. But this is during a normal shutdown. That's during a normal operation. If you don't get water of the pools, which are boiling off 120,000 liters a day, then the level will drop, and then the rods that have already went through a chain reaction, their biggest producer, and Dr. Raymond Gilmedy from Loveless Respiratory Research Institute in New Mexico, his studies show that curium isotopes are the major byproduct. Cesium and iodine are tracer elements. So is strontium, and these are bad. I'm not saying they're not bad. I'm just saying they're irrelevant for the real bad stuff. Because curium, like these studies on dogs, performed the exact same way that plutonium did. And he also used americium. And so the dogs, all of them, all the time, for 35 years, he'd never tried to cure a dog a single time. And just, how do you kill a dog this way? How do you kill a dog that way? With man-made. But yet you take your loved ones to a hospital and you inject them with this stuff. And then you're shocked when they don't survive. Why would you do that? Because you put your faith and your trust and everything into the academics and the universities and your doctors. But look at the statistics. 2% of the children will survive, or people will survive any longer with leukemia by getting chemotherapy, which is taking isotopes like curium, plutonium, and who knows what else. And they've done all that over and over and over, injecting it into people to see if it'll help the cancer, kill the cancer. But it was never about that. Dr. Raymond Gilmedy's studies, they understood it. They understood that it's cancer, guaranteed. Every dog he killed died of cancer. Every dog, no matter how small the dose was, died of cancer. So why would you not expect the same thing to happen in a human? Well, because they don't tell you about Dr. Raymond Gilmedy. They don't talk about those studies. They don't talk about those effects. They don't talk about those causations. They don't talk about, there's thousands of Dr. Raymond Gilmedy's in North America killing dogs and animals all the time with man-made radiation. None of them try to cure it. And there's thousands in Germany, and thousands in Israel, and thousands in Pakistan, and thousands in Canada, and every other country killing animals all the time, but not trying to cure it. Ever. But they're not using potassium-40 on the dogs. How come? They're not using natural uranium on the dogs. How come? They're not using bananas and extracting potassium-40 to kill the dogs, are they? No. They're taking the fuel rods and the material from a chain reaction using it to kill the animals. Now, potassium-40, a curry, right? This is how they confuse you. Where they got right now, they got you thinking that a curry of potassium-40 is the same thing as a curry of man-made ionizing radiation. A curry of man-made from a chain reaction is 88 times 37 billion atomic atoms, where a curry of natural stuff is 0.00071 10 millions of a curry. So potassium-40 being at 50 million petabecquerels is irrelevant. It's 10 million pounds at best of man-made stuff. We've dumped more than that into the ocean of man-made stuff, see? We have long since surpassed. Now for Woods Hole and University of Victoria to tell you that Chernobyl is bigger than Fukushima, you need to get outraged. You need to get upset. You need to withdraw any kind of donations to that organization. You need to contact anybody that's helping that organization and tell them to get their heads screwed on. And tell them you're not going to support people like this. And that you should contact your Justice Department and have these people arrested and criminally convicted for misinforming the public as a nuclear PR firm, as a public relation firm, but also as a mass murderer because they're educated and knows the difference. Because they're articulate and have degrees and are claimed and put up on a pedestal as experts by the mainstream media, when I just showed you the mathematical ludicrousness of their. But it's ludicrous to suggest that because there's more potassium in the ocean, we don't have to worry about man-made, or there's more natural potassium or rubidium or anything else or uranium in a fish, we don't have to worry about it because there's more there than there is from Fukushima. And we don't get it sick from that stuff, so why would we get sick from the stuff from Fukushima? Because of Dr. Raymond Gilmedy's studies that I showed you, right? Like, see, if you don't understand how big that lie is, look at this building. Now look at that. Okay. Keep looking. Now I want you to listen to a guy from CBS telling you he's inside.
Decommissioning work taking place here.
That he's inside. Hear that?
At the end of our tour, we were
Now he's saying he's got an x-ray. But anyway, he says he's inside of... Wait for it. He says he's inside of this building. And that it looks like that. When you know it looks like this. These are all the official pictures. And that's the same reason why they're propagating that out there. Is to confuse you even more. Just like Seth Dorn from CBS pretended. That's not me, that's Seth Dorn. He pretended that here I am inside of Unit 4. And why he was there, he got less than a chest x-ray.
Checked for radiation exposure in 4.
Now that's just clips from the documentary of him there at Fukushima on the site. Showing videos, showing pictures, walking around the side of the building, visiting Fukushima Daiichi Military Industrial Complex's Directed Energy Weapons Production Facility, aka Fukushima Power Plant. And then the whole world is over and over and over and over and over told that natural curries or natural stuff is somehow equivalent to man-made. When Dr. Raymond Gilmedi studies, just to name one, with an incredible history of 35 years killing puppies and dogs, showing the complete opposite. Like Dr. Jacqueline Yates, if I ever find that, I'll be lucky. Let's play her clip. Dr. Jacqueline Yates, I got her there somewhere. Give me a moment. Yeah, here we go.
Possibly on the
first beyond the containment. Now, unfortunately, we
Dr.
have
Jacqueline
very
Yates.
little data, almost no data about how much radiation we can live with in terms of elevated background levels.
Now, they've done studies on elevated background levels, no more cancer. But they didn't do studies on elevated, of natural stuff, in like places where there's more radium and more natural uranium, which is insignificant. It's harmless. It's indigenous, stupid, everyday background radiation. And we're all acclimated to it through genetic superior selection. But what she says next is all of her studies are only based upon a single exposure for 1 minute. Now, not the studies from Dr. Raymond Gilmedi. Don't bother mentioning that.
All of our data come about the health effects of radiation come from a situation in which all the doses delivered in less than a minute.
So that's from man-made stuff. See? So why not look at these studies? Did he not allude that in the last two sentences, these findings in dogs suggest similar dose-related biological effects could be expected in humans accidentally exposed to 238, or 239, or 240, or 241, or 242, or 243. Do I hear 250, 250, 250, give me 250? Stop fooling around, Dana. Okay. All right. So, Dina, next. So the 400 petabecquerels was nuclear weapons testing in the 50s and 60s, but they tested it in the 70s, they tested it in the 80s, they were testing in the 90s, they were doing it in Russia, they were doing it in China, they were doing it in all kinds of other countries. And that natural petabecquerels is insignificant to man-made petabecquerels. It's insidiously backwards. So let's explain that. So 15 million petabecquerels of potassium-40, which is 0.000071710 millionths of a curie, were man-made per gram, where man-made per gram is 88 curies, no .00s needed. 88 full curies. See? And so those numbers are man-made. Now, put that into perspective. And that's where we're supposed to be. To put that into perspective, I want you to think about, hang on, I'll come back over in a second. Think about, that's Unit 4. That's Unit 4, now that blew up. Anybody doubting this, that blew up? Anybody? Is that not blown up? Is that not destroyed? Is there anybody out there who's going to say that is not destroyed? Anybody? I'm going to come over to the comment section. And I want to see any trolls out there, any pro-nuclear or anybody out there on this planet telling me in the comment section. I'll bring up that too while I'm at it. Dana. And so, I can move myself over in the picture a little tiny bit, change cameras. Well, like, you gotta realize, we live stream here, and then we repost that beautiful girl by Dana on YouTube in higher quality. And so those views are not going to be in the high numbers after, because the live stream is over, and then it's up at YouTube. It's also hopefully reposted all over the internet like it normally is. And that's, that's the great thing about the internet. It can stop me, but it can't stop all of us. And when we look at how big the lie was and why they lied the way they did, why did Seth Dorn claim that he's inside of a building that don't exist, right?
Of the decommissioning work taking place here in Reactor 4.
Taking place here in Reactor 4. So why does Seth Dorn say he was inside of that building? Why? What was to be gained by doing that? It was the same thing to be gained by doing that as it is to be gained by getting people to think that petabecquels of man-made stuff has anything to do, of natural stuff has anything to do with man-made. Natural stuff, you don't care. It's irrelevant. Yeah, there could be 15 million petabecquels. And who cares how much uranium, of natural uranium? It's ubiquitous throughout the universe, throughout the solar system. It's the seed of life itself. It puts out energy. But it's not going to mutate fruit flies. You've got a uranium rock, you put it in your pet cage of hamsters or butterflies or whatever. It's not going to mutate them. But if you put in the same corresponding size piece of man-made stuff, it'll kill everybody in the building and the apartment block in short order. It'll kill everybody in that room in a couple of minutes. It'll kill everybody in a restaurant in 10 minutes. It'll kill everybody in 1,500 people in the theater in 20 minutes. Every 20 minutes till the end of time. But the natural stuff can't hurt you. The natural stuff is, you need it to survive, to grow. Otherwise you're deficient. It's in all your food, right? Allegedly. GMO has engineered potassium, magnesium, iron, carbon, cobalt out of corn so much that you got to eat 428 GMO corn on the cob to get the same amount of calcium that you would have got out of an organic corn on the cob. So when they tell you that Chernobyl is many Fukushimas, Chernobyl stopped after 10 days, and Chernobyl was graphite. Chernobyl wasn't mixed oxide fuel like number 3 reactor in Japan. Shanikin, Thomas Ackerman, and Seth, yeah, hates life. Thomas, Edward, Clint. Good morning, everybody. Just cruising. Edwards, White Sparrow, Chicks, and everybody there. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we're up to the half an hour mark. Let's bang into some headlines. It's that time of the day again. So I came over here to do... Oh, you couldn't see yourselves during that time. I'm going to get rid of that. I can't see yourself at all, can you? Great job, Dana. Now we're gone all together, Dana. You're no help. Okay. Let me see what we got going on here. We done that one. A 28% increase in thyroid problems in babies born after Fukushima in Alaska, California, Hawaii, Oregon, not Canada. And then you got Bulgaria's abandoned children. You should go watch that one. I have nightmares. That's nuclear. Japan's population dropped by almost 1 million. Yeah, no, got nothing to do with Fukushima. Population drops by 1 million all the times, Dana. We got it in the consensus over years. My cigarettes don't have 7,000 chemicals. Your media told you nicotine causes cancer, but it's the 7,000 chemicals. They've been doing studies on nicotine for 50 years probably, and they still can't prove it causes cancer. I've covered in some of my videos years ago. Flushed it out really good. Turns out there's 7,000 chemicals in a cigarette. Mine don't have it. And so if you're offended by it, it's because you've been tricked and deceived all your life. Equivalent to the entire population of San Francisco disappearing. Oh, everything's fine in Japan. Yeah. And as the Pacific sardine collapse worsens, scientists worry about an ecosystem ripple. Oh, gee, you don't say, eh? Ecosystem ripple. See that boat there? We done 15,000 miles of the coastline. That's a depiction of the Canadian coastline, one end right to the other end. Instead of being full of life, like the entire coastline of Canada used to be, we went out there and we showed that we have an extinction event. No more of the wild side you'll see. These are pre-Fukushima, post-Fukushima, and pre-Fukushima. Whip through a few of that. Anywhere in British Columbia, anywhere in British Columbia, this is what you expect to see. That, and that, and that, no matter where you went. Go look it up yourself. Just every millimeter jostling for life everywhere you go. Jostling, just amazing, incredible. 75 of those per square meter in many places. Amazing, inconceivable amount of that. I used to pick 20,000 of them a day as a commercial diver. Every nook and every cranny was jostling with thousands of species, and there was over 6,000 invertebrates without backbones in that same zone, in the tidal zones, particularly tidal zones. The whole coastline was a rich, unimaginable. Now, that same spot, after Fukushima, this is one of the most coveted spots in Canada, by the way. Louise Narrows in the Queen Charlotte Haida Islands, formerly known as the Queen Charlottes, now is naked. No more beautiful, wonderful life, naked, desolate. You will starve to death. That bird was over our head, was starving to death. You would normally land there and feast, right? Hang on, you would normally, that would pre-Fukushima. That's what normally, every beach would look like this. Birds would be landing there all the time. Now there's nothing to land for. Well, there was when that bird was over our head. Me and Zoe was right there underneath him. That was from the same spot where I took that picture of the bird. But the nuclearproctologist.org is full of pictures. And the ocean is full of natural stuff. It's irrelevant. Now it's full of man-made because we have lost, there's 300 million pounds unaccounted for. See? Only takes 10 million pounds of man-made stuff to equal the same amount of potassium. And the potassium, of course, is harmless, where a gram of man-made is 1,000,000 watts. A gram of potassium is no watts. 0 watts. Irrelevant watts. Harmless, stupid, benign, indigenous. And so is the natural uranium, so is the natural, all the other natural stuff. So that's the big lie, that's the big fable. Oh, there's a lot more natural there. This is what they've been pushing now 5 years hardcore, but they have for 70 years with that same lie. For 70 years they told you like a banana potato chip, walking in the sunshine, getting on an airplane. It's actually got nothing to do with that. 0 to do with that. That was a fabrication. That was a manipulation. That was a deception. And it's still ongoing today by all your universities. But if you go look up the literature, you go look up the science, you go look up the data, you go look up the context of what we talk about. I'll come back over here. Look up studies pre-Fukushima. Hang on. In Canada, let me bring it up this way, maybe it'll be better. That's why I gotta expand it to get through that one. Hang on. Let me just play with that one. I gotta redo that one to make it smaller so it doesn't. I want it high quality, but whatever. The average tritium, which is man-made, or natural, there's natural tritium out there, but man-made is 3H. But the average tritium concentration, this is how they always talk about it, was 5 to 12 becquerels. Okay, 5 to 12 becquerels. But we are allowed now in Canada 7,000 becquerels per liter. Let me bring up that other camera so I can turn. So 7,000 becquerels, when pre-Fukushima, we only had 5 to 12. And that was natural, not man-made. But throughout the world, if you look at studies, and I have, right around this world, many studies, right around this entire planet, study after study after study, showed what? 1.1 to 1.4 per meter cube, which is, I think it's 100, they're talking about 100 liters on that one. And so here was Canada, what? With 7,000 per liters. Big difference, see? Oh, sorry. Hang on. So pre-studies right around this planet, I got lots of them. I got hundreds and hundreds of them. Actually, I think I got a couple thousand on this stuff. Showed that worldwide, no matter where you went, worldwide, it was frig all, nothing. Yet now in Canada, because of the stupid, idiotic, moronic dummies, these are the same people that are feeding you that. Let's get over to the headlines before I forget, because we're running out of time, aren't we? 38% of the Fukushima children have thyroid problems, but they would have diabetes. They would have autoimmune deficiencies coming out of their eardrums till the end of time. Before the cancer manifests and gets diagnosed, they have all these other problems, plus nosebleeds and hair falling out and everything else. Do you want exposure 100 times higher? I think we covered this yesterday, didn't we? Let me check down here. 23% higher incidence of childhood leukemia within 16 kilometers of a nuclear facility. That don't tell you nothing. How come you don't get 23 higher percent of leukemias when you body ocean from potassium or natural uranium? Huh? And Chernobyl? No, 85 petabecquerels. That's the biggest lie imaginable. And that claiming that Fukushima was nothing compared to Chernobyl, that's murder. That's murder. Anybody tries to pawn that off on you, that's a fucking demented, twisted, heartless, soulless, spineless fucking turd, okay? That's what that person is. You're a fucking turd, you prick. I get my hands on you and rip your fucking face right off your head. You fucking prick who's putting that out there. Propaganda machines. I'm not apologizing for saying that. I'm not withdrawing that comment. Don't think I am. Rip your fucking head right off your shoulder if it catches you. The people that put that up on the internet today are not the people who made it, or I'm talking about. You are lying, disgusting, manipulative, despicable, unconscionable, hideous, the farthest thing from a human. You're the farthest. A cockroach is 10 times more worthy of life than you are. You are a fucking nothing. Arr. Okay, let's boogie out of that. Boogie out of this. Boogie out of there. Boom, boom, boom. Blurp, blurp. Got it out, John says. No. I'm not gonna look. Sit up straight, Dana. Get your shoulders back, chest out, chin up, Dana. Don't slur your words, Dana. Get your hair cut, Dana. Get a shave, Dana. Wear a suit, Dana. Now don't have a smoke, Dana. Go control somebody else's fucking life. Go get married and try to control their life, okay? I'm not yelling at you. I'm yelling at people that say stuff like that to me. Dana, don't do this. Dana, don't do that. I don't come to your page and tell you how to live your fucking life or what to do. I don't even suggest it. Don't make fun of it. I know you're probably joking with me. I'm just saying, John, that sometimes I smoke. Mine don't have 7,000 chemicals. Go buy cigarettes with 7,000 chemicals and you won't have a problem. But the 7,000 chemicals is the problem. And that the media says, oh, nicotine causes cancer. No! Yell at the fuckers who put 7,000 chemicals in the cigarette. Call them out. That's what you got, investigative journalists. Where? When? How? Why not? Why don't you do stuff like that? How come you can't look at Fukushima and say Fukushima's worse than Chernobyl? How can you look at that and allow that to be put up on your medias and everywhere else all the time? And can you allow people to come out and say stuff like that? Because you were manipulated and deceived and tricked and fooled and ridiculed for even considering anything different than what they tell you. Because that's the PR firms, public relation firms, have got to go. We got to fucking throw them in volcanoes and sacrifice them to the volcano. I don't care, drop them out of a fucking plane on a big rock, let them splat. I couldn't care. I fucking hate nuclear PR firms. Period. Anybody that's pro-nuclear and can't tell the difference are too stupid to salvage and are usually educated and know the difference. If they're in media, they're educated and they know got nothing to do with fucking potassium-40. Every day I have to cover that. Every day I have to put that out there. Every day I'm trying to educate people about that. Every day I'm driving that point home. Every day I'm trying to ridicule the people that are doing it. Because we got to do that. But it's only basically me out there plugging away and hammering away at these people. Because it's easy to chat like that, but it's too difficult for people to pick up a camera and say something. But that's what they fear the most. Don't get me wrong, they fear the chat, they fear the comments, they fear you even tweeting or emailing or Facebook or anything to do with another narrative besides, oh, there's more natural radiation in the ocean than there is from man-made, therefore the fishies will be fine. Fucking knock your teeth right down your throat. You disgusting, manipulative prick. No offense to pricks. What I'm trying to say is until I see resistance, until I see the blowback, until I see results, I'm not going anywhere. Even if I only got one person or no persons watching my videos, I'm still going to produce them fucking material. Because at some point, people are going to come looking for it, they're going to find it, they're going to get it, because we're going to make sure, and they're going to go looking for these people. And hopefully that'll be the justice system. Hopefully the justice system will grow a moral conscience. Don't hold your fucking breath. They're incapable. They're the Nini machine itself. They're meant to keep the divide. They're meant to break up families. They're meant to wreck communities. They're meant to wreck your income. They're just a fucking useful tool. They don't have any backbone. They don't go out and stop corporations. They don't stop the corporation from committing crimes. Mark Zuckerberg can't get a criminal record. No. Hang on. How's that work again? I got something here. Facebook. Let's bring that up for a second. Hang on. Let me explain this to you. Okay. Facebook. They get a fine in Germany. No criminal record. No jail time. So now they can go and commit another crime. And they do. Morgan Stanley gets a $5 million fine for Facebook. No criminal record for anybody. You done it, you get a criminal record. You done it, you'll be vilified. You done it, the media would never touch you again. They do it, the media's like, ha, you got a fine, did you? They don't understand the problem? No, because their main accounts are in offshore accounts too. Your media accounts are corporate personhood. Ottawa takes on social media giant for violating Canadian law, but they don't get a criminal record. They don't go to jail. They get a fucking fine. And they're put right back up on the pedestal again. Crime after crime after crime. Crime after crime. They paid $4,000, so $6,500 American dollars in taxes. And they owed how much? I can't remember. I'll find it here in a minute. So they found a way around it. They gave out $397 million in bonuses. They owed $400 million. They only paid $6,500 in taxes because they got corporate personhood. No one can get a criminal record. So fuck your country. Fuck your province. Fuck your states. Fuck all of you. I'm Mark Zuckerberg. I can't get a criminal record, and the media will keep putting me out there and never call me a criminal ever. Never accuse me of a crime ever. You say, oh, they got a fine of tax, and they paid it for it with taxes that they smuggled, they took offshore because they got corporate personhood, which is an illegal amendment to the slavery law. It's an illegal amendment that can be overturned for corporations and no longer have that diplomatic immunity, so to speak. That's why TEPCO can't be held accountable. They're a corporate personhood. And the TEPCO, the Japanese owns 51% of TEPCO, the government, which is the Japanese, but you never know it. No such thing as a government as representative. Government doesn't represent you. It don't give a fuck about you. It's worried about 6 corporations. Because that's all that works there is the people from those. But there you go. Here's Facebook. $26,000 fine. Fine after fine after fine, but no criminal record. Now they're paying people to make live videos. Now they're putting out a chatbot. AI chatbots. And they're going to direct you to corporations so corporations can use chatbots to trick you into think you're talking to somebody or to get you to talk to them, to their machine. And they're going to put that software out there. That's going to show up everywhere. Where the comment sections are going to be full of these idiotic, moronic chatbots. That'll be pumping out, wow, there's more natural potassium in the ocean. There's man-made stuff, Dan. I don't know what you're worried about. When they actually know the difference, when they know that's a great big lie, when they know that that has zero to do. Do I have a couple more headlines there? Pacific System. This story here, I'm going to cover it later. This is about John Disney in massive Queen Charlotte Islands, where they went out and spent millions of dollars to create a phytoplankton bloom to feed the salmon. But a glass of salt water from the ocean would have 75 to 100 million phytoplankton and a billion other creatures. By the way, nuclear power plants consume 16 million glasses like that, with a billion creatures in each glass per minute. 1,440 minutes a day, every day for its entire lifespan. And then the waste destroys everything until the end of time. Plus they dumped it in the ocean year after year after year after year. But anyway, John Disney, he went and created a phytoplankton bloom and got into trouble. Okay. But John Disney is the guy who tests for radiation in Queen Charlotte's for the people, the locals. He's never found any. But the ocean currents come directly from Japan and warm up the coastline in Canada. It takes 45 days for the ocean currents to get here. And so you gotta really wonder about, all these what seems like little people, where he went out and he got a $500 Geiger counter from eBay and he got a Windows 98 laptop, which is the most stupid thing imaginable, and then uses that to say there's no radiation up there in the Queen Haida-Gwaii Islands. Now, at the same time, a couple of years before that, he was part of an operation that scammed the natives of a few $1 million to dump iron in the ocean to feed salmon. Think about that one, to feed salmon. How are you going to dump anything in the ocean to feed anything when the salmon are migrating across the ocean and all they're going to do is swim through a little plume you might have made at best? Most likely not at all. And they didn't, that we know about. There's no way to prove they done that. There's no way to prove that. And it's based upon a volcano releasing ash into all of the ocean, all that iron, and there was a bigger sockeye run that year. This is the theory they ran on. By going up and dumping a few boatloads along the coastline, somehow that's going to equal a volcano going off. But it did liquidate the natives' assets who don't have anything, and the fishery had just collapsed. And they bought into it because they thought it would restore the salmon. But they don't understand the salmon's gone because, like I showed you the pictures earlier of the Fukushima Expeditions for Life, all the other species are gone, and the 4 million other species didn't recede the coastline, so it's all gone. And recently the scientists admitted that the microscopic world is missing from the Pacific Ocean. That all the birds on the coastline of British Columbia, North America, they starved to death. All the whales starved to death. All the baby seals and sea lions and adults and everything, they starved to death or were emaciated when they were found. Every species starved to death. On a whole uncomprehensible level, starving to death. Where normally they would come ashore if they couldn't find the shrimp or the prawns or the krill rather or the herring, the anchovies or the squid or whatever the case may be, the migratory feeder fish. They would come ashore and eat everything on the shoreline and be fine. All the snails and mussels and mollusks and the 5,600 indigenous species to the coastline, and then the thousands of insects in the forests, or just go inland to the lakes and eat all the insects in the lakes. They would have been fine. But they all starved. They had nothing. They never even had the biological, microscopic tracks in their esophagus or in their stomachs or anywhere in their loiners anywhere. They starved to death. That's why I do what I do every day. That's why I have to do what I do every day. That's why I have to come out and run headfirst into this nonsense right here. Chernobyl is somehow bigger than Fukushima. Chernobyl was just a single building. Fukushima is multiple reactors. But if you actually look at what happened, hang on. Think about the tsunami, right? Think about that tsunami that killed all these people you're looking at there in red. And that was right along the coast where all these reactors. It wasn't just Fukushima. There's 30 million bags that we know about. But there's 15 plants. 15. They say 14, 15. A TEPCO governor said we want to dismantle all 10 of the reactors that are destroyed because they won't admit to you what they've done. See? They're not going to tell you the truth. They're not going to bother mention the buckyballs, the sulfur peroxide, hydrogen balls that are created by spraying the salt water on a reactor, and how they ingest the particles and not solutable in water, and how they're easily transportable. No, they don't want to mention none of that. They don't want to mention how this model is only based upon 2 isotopes that were vented. It's not based upon the 12,000. It's not based upon the constant, perpetual, endless releases coming out of Fukushima. It's not based upon the original inventories. It's not based upon the melted fuel pool, the fool's pools that were full of tens of millions of pounds. They're not counting on none of that, see? But rain with 20 million particles, how do you think that happened? Well, because there was more atoms, more petabecquerels released than there is potassium, uranium, global nuclear weapons testing, Chernobyl combined, and 3 Mile Island. They put 3 Mile Island at 0.00004 petabecquerels. It was a 50% meltdown. It took them 10 years before they can get in there and start dismantling it. There was 200,000 people that was seriously sickened in corresponding valleys around there. Cancer rates skyrocketed. Leukemias, Alzheimer's, dementias, diabetes, autisms skyrocketed surrounding 3 Mile Island, but that was the biggest cover-up. They got away with that one. Chernobyl, you still can't eat the meat or sell the land or drink the milk in Ireland, Scotland, parts of the UK. In Sweden, they just opened a freshwater industry after 28 years because of Chernobyl. But Chernobyl was nothing. Fukushima, that tsunami came in, washed away many nuclear power plants as common spent fuel pools. There was many, many detonations, many meltdowns. Unit 1 was 100%. It's 3 times the size of Chernobyl. It's all gone. And it had reactors on the roof. Chernobyl never had that. That's Unit 2. That's Unit 3. These are all... Unit 3 is 2 million times worse than any current reactor on the planet because of mixed oxide fuel. But yet, here we are with the propaganda machine in second gear telling you Fukushima is nothing and don't worry about it because there's more natural than there is. But like the math I showed you earlier, that really does matter. You only need 10 million pounds of man-made stuff to equal all the same petabecquerels, the animosity equivalent of natural. But the energy-wise, a gram of man-made is 1 million watts. 1 million watts, 333 3,000 watt heaters running on a gram size of a dime. Whereas man-made stuff is 0.0000717 millionths of a gram. 7/110 millionths of a curry, is in a gram of man-made natural stuff. Man-made is 88 times 37 billion. Whew. That's all I got. I'm burnt out. Like you, I get it. And it's just 55 minutes straight, intense. And I switched gears this morning to come out and talk about this one here, right? In the ocean. But without the ocean, Earth dies. And so that's hence the name of the video today, Fukushima has killed Earth. Because when it comes to petabecquerels, Fukushima is cannibalizing rocks and steel and rebar and cement and water that's going in on it, and it's hitting the fissionable products, and some of this is hitting 9,000 degree Fahrenheit temperatures for extended periods, 5, 6, 7. It's cannibalizing, ionizing, radiating. It's like dropping reactor cores, throwing reactor cores in there. That's what comes out. Right? Because a gram produces 88 times 37 million. When we're talking about fissionable, but we're talking about natural, it's not even 0.000071 of curry. A single curry, but there's 88 man-made, 88 curries in man-made stuff. All right, okay, yeah. Let's go on and say good day to everybody. I haven't stopped since yesterday. Maybe I'll go pass out, get a few hours sleep, and get ahead and catch up for tomorrow. And getting into the groove of things, I'm burnt out. Once again, haven't raised any money at all, and we need to raise money so I can do the things we need to get done. And so if you can donate, please donate to the nuclearproctologist.org credit cards. And you can donate at PayPal, danadurnford@hotmail.com. Or go to Beautiful Girl by Dana on YouTube, and underneath the videos, direct links, that stuff. And if you had 1,000 people donating $1 or $5 or $10 mixed up, I could put some beating on these people, like I'm doing right now with what I got. Imagine what I can do if I had what I want, what I need, what I'm going to have at some point. It's coming. Hugs for everybody. Let's bring up and say good day to everybody. Have a nice day, folks. Thank you for your constant, relentless support. You have my admiration. And have a great day, is right, Jan Brooks. And Elaine, hugs for Elaine. And PLT, cheers for all is right. And Albert, Starlight, Kathy, checks and balances, just cursing. And Pam, and anybody I missed, Nova, losing is over. Good morning, everybody. Hugs for everybody. We do this because we are tasked with that job. Hi, Kate. And Kate got the Fukushima hounds. And you'll find her links under my video. Ellie and Dalamine and anybody I didn't get. Sparrow, Clint. Hugs for everybody. Soon now I'm going to start running 24 hours a day on the weekend with repeats. So I'll just run repeats all the weekend and bring in more people so they can learn and understand. That's coming soon. That also means I won't have any internet. All my internet all weekend long will be dedicated to that, and I won't be able to research or do things. So I'll have to work out something, figure something out, because I work on a very tiny budget. I admit I'm a nobody. I'm just a normal, everyday person like you, and that I strive every day to waken the academics and the journalists as they're coming to terms with this, and as people are starting to speak out and be brave. We want to supply them with the documentation, and we want to make sure that it's proper, and that's what we do here. We are the #1 purveyor of truth and documentation. That will never be taken away from us, and there's no one out there can ever match what we've already done together. As Dana and the Hounds of Fukushima, as I affectionately like to call everyone, but everybody's an individual, and I respect that. So hugs for everybody. We'll see everybody tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Pacific Canada time, British Columbia time. And it's free for everybody to watch. Take care, folks. We'll see you tomorrow.